Joining me now is Michael Weiner. Look at this, folks. U.S. national debt now surpasses $37 trillion. It's a milestone, but really it's more than that. It's probably about $200 trillion when you add on the unfunded liabilities, Medicare, Social Security, et cetera, right? Right?
Absolutely. I mean, this debt situation has to be dealt with. And, Trump is right now dealing with the tariff situation. And also what I'm saying about what people really don't get is we're going to have a totally restructured financial world based digitally, based on China and Europe, et cetera. But nobody's paying attention to that as much as they should with this debt issue. And there's so many factors that are getting worse. That's why people, Wes and I are contacting people. We're trying to let them know about the situation of the up and coming currency debacle. When they change over to the digital currency, there's going to be a devaluation. It's inevitable with staple coins, et cetera. This all is also applicable to how they might want to deal with debt by devaluation. But
so wait, let's stop right there. Devaluation, that means printing more money or printing more digits, expanding the balance sheet, right?
Theoretically, but it's also like taking your $100 and telling you it's now worth 70. That's all.
But how are they going to do that unless they're printing more money to dilute the purchasing power?
Well, actually, they changed the money. This is what's really interesting about
okay, so what you're saying is they'll change the money, they'll go to a new coin, and it'll take more of those coins to buy something.
Well, exactly right.
In other words, a dollar won't be a dollar. They'll make a dollar $1.70.
Staple coins.
Okay.
Well, absolutely. But if you remember, we mentioned the fact that with the new Genius Act, people could take staple coins. They can take your cash in your account and actually convert it to staple coins without your permission. So they can reevaluate your bank holdings as staple coins. Now, if you want to look at something similar to that, look at what happened in 1933, April 5th. Roosevelt changed the currency. All of your money was either gold coins, which is 65% of it, or the balance in gold certificates. That's what it said on the top of your money. And when you turned your money in on May 1st, when they issued new money, you had silver certificates, but they gave you less of them.
Right. So when I say like the dollar go to be like $1.70, I don't mean the dollar will have the purchasing power. No, it'll buy less. What you used to buy for $1 might take $1.70 now to buy something.
$1.70, $1.80. We don't know. The number could be different. I mean, if Kamala the Freak Harris was in charge of the government, she would have already made us part of China, and we'd be dealing with Chinese dollars anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So when do you think this is going to happen, or is it already happening?
Well, I think that's already happening. China had the reset and reel that we talked about. They announced everything they're doing digitally. They announced everything they're doing with their SWIFT system. They announced everything they're doing with the Chinese digital system. They said gold is intertwined with it. The European Union announced that they are going digital. Britain, the United Kingdom is going digital. Who's left? I mean, the Saudis and the rest of the Middle East are going digital. Israel is going digital. So there's going to be a new world currency. And if the United States wants to be the world reserve currency, as Trump knew, we had to redo ours. And that's why they came up with this Genius Act. And really, there's so many backdoor issues to the Genius Act that we haven't paid attention to with these staple coins that they claim we're not going to be doing CBDC. But in all due respect, there's a backdoor manner for them to do that through the corporate entities. And there's a lot of concern here, and people don't get it. Back in 1971, Brandon, when you were just a little toddler, they literally changed the currency. In 1971, we went off the gold standard. So what happened is if you had silver, all of your paper money in your wallet literally went from silver certificates to Federal Reserve notes. And I'll never forget it. I was in college. I turned to a buddy of mine. He said, look at your money. I said, what are you talking about? He said, look at the top of your money. And it said Federal Reserve note. And I said, how did they do that? And that's how they did it, is when you turned it in, they just swapped it out. You didn't even know it was in transition. And I believe it's going to be the same thing as it relates to this staple coin issue in our currency. Some people say, are they going to have new money? They might not have new money. What they do is eventually, by converting your bank account to stable coins, when you wanted to get cash out, either they'll give you stable coins or less currency. Pardon me. So this is a major issue. And, Wes and I try to talk to people right now, and they're being lulled to sleep. We're trying to let you know ahead of time. The one asset that you control that legitimately offers you an offset to this is your gold that you control financially yourself. It's your own gold bank account. But that, understand, for all the worldview listeners, that if you have a gold account with us now, you are there. But the central banks of countries, including ours, and today on Fox again, Bassat came on and he said the United States government has 251 million ounces of gold that we're not selling. We're keeping it for stability and offset. So they're doing that with the gold. They're talking about doing that with digital currency. And then they're going to sit back and apply that to our money, and they'll absorb debt by playing around with stable coins, playing around with tangibles, and then ultimately you'll see a retracement in the stock market. So they can turn around and say to you, well, if stocks go down 20% or something, it's what's the big deal? It's up so much, you're not hurting.
Wow. All right, let's go to the next article here. Here we go. We're just getting started. JP Morgan Chase issues inflation warning, says one catalyst will trigger next big wave. All right, so we had some numbers out. Was that today or yesterday? Some numbers that came out that showed inflation was higher in what? Wholesale prices or something than they expected?
Correct. And not only are they higher, but they came up significantly higher than they thought they were. So now there's concern that in September, that they might not lower interest rates that they all thought might happen. And there's again, the biggest thing going on, President Trump is fighting a battle. He walked into a big bowl of minutia, but literally what we're looking at here right now is the only way out of this is to restructure our currencies and devalue, because we're in debt up to 37 trillion.
Okay, so what is that going to do to hard assets? People who own, houses, rental property, gold, silver, land. What's that going to do with
gold and silver? We're in a real interesting world. Gold and silver is going to go up like crazy. Gold, and look at what happened in 33. Gold doubled overnight. Look what happened during 2008.
That was when they reset it in 33 and gold doubled.
And we're having a reset now. Gold doubled. That's why.
And by the way, didn't they tell us they were going to do they called it the Great Reset?
That's exactly right. Absolutely.
But they said by 2030, you'll own nothing and be happy. Now, is that still on track, or has that now been blown up since President Trump is in power?
It's blown up because Trump is around. There's going to be a great reset, but it's going to be in a different manner. But look at the price. We're looking at something quite interesting. Normally, when interest rates go down and it becomes more practical to buy a house, housing values go up. Well, housing values are already up. They're way up. They're ridiculous. And that's why the housing market is so bad. You've got a housing market that needs a retracement of dramatic proportions. Here in Arizona, it's terrible. I mean, the price of housing is ridiculous, and I blame it on the homeowners too. If you own a house and you bought it for $250,000, 20 years ago, and now you're trying to sell it for 1.5 million or 1.2 million, that's insanity. I mean, what's the matter with selling it for a realistic number? And I blame it. And my friend who was the founder of Rocket Mortgage, I grew up with him, Danny Gilbert, understand the fact it's the appraisers. They've literally, the whole industry has shot themselves in the foot. That's what's leading all these communists right now. They're running around talking about giving people housing and giving them everything, because the price of a medium range home is over 400 and some thousand, and the ability to buy that home, which used to be 70,000 4 or 5 years ago, is now 125 to 130,000 in income. People can't afford it.
So
It's scary.
Yeah, absolutely, it's scary. So what do you think is going to be happening in the housing market, if you had to guess?
It's a mess. It's a hot
Houses
mess.
are going to go up, and houses are going to drop. What are they gonna
Houses
do?
have to go down. If I was a homeowner buyer, and I've said it to clients who call me up and tell me things, and I tell them the same thing, I'm a bottom fish. If I go to buy a piece of property, I look at what that homeowner paid for it and what it's worth today. And I don't really care what the appraiser says or anything else. I'm not paying it. I just refuse. People have to just say no. That's all. And then some of these people, I have got people out here in Arizona who's had to drop their prices hundreds of thousands of dollars that come up with ridiculous numbers. So until this marketplace corrects itself, and it's insane, they're not going to get it. Look at even in New York City, where you think based on the communists coming into power there, that piece of garbage, the reality is the housing market there is booming. Values are booming, but those people are going to be moving out in droves if they elect Mandami, okay? Which is an affront to the entire people who died in the World Trade Center if they elect that guy. That's a shame, literally a total shame. People don't realize that 3,000 fellow Americans died at the World Trade Center, and who killed them? A bunch of heretic Muslim communists. Okay, who do they want to elect as mayor? A heretic Muslim communist. People, it's unbelievable. It overwhelms me. I had friends that died there. 6 of my friends died at the World Trade Center, and they're putting a bum like that in charge of the city. That's unbelievable.
I agree with you. So U.S. budget soars in first 10 months of 2025 fiscal year, according to the Congressional Budget Office. The amount of $109 billion more than the deficit reported during the same period last fiscal year. Revenues increased by $263 billion, or 6%, and outlays rose by $372 billion. Okay, so spending. Are you telling me the spending has not gotten any better under President Trump, who's working with Congress? Is that what you're saying?
Not yet. I mean, that's why some of these congressmen were going crazy, and that's why Rand Paul was going crazy.
Thomas Massey,
some of these people were. Trump is very much focused on this tariff situation, and very much focused right now. You've got Passant saying that the 300 billion number that he thought we'd take in is more like going to be maybe 500 billion. And he has to reassess it. But what's really scary is they're really not. They got Doge together. And Doge was doing their job, but they're just doing little pinpricks. They haven't done something major. And now you've got these crazy lunatic judges who just wants to refund the U.S. aid. That group is just a bunch. U.S. aid almost $1 trillion. Why do we want to give money for condoms in Uganda? I mean, it's insanity.
Yeah, it is. All right, here's the next one. U.S. retail clothing stores lost $300,000. Excuse me, let me start over. U.S. retail clothing stores lost 300,000 jobs in 5 years since the pandemic. Well, we know that. You go any of your strip malls in your area, they're all closed down or half empty, or they built a big, beautiful mall in the Mid-South about 20 years ago. It's sitting half empty. Most of the slots are filled with restaurants. Very few places where you can go to buy things. You have to do a lot of it online now. Macy's has closed a bunch of stores.
Well, they also don't have people in the store. I had to go to Kohl's to return an Amazon item, and I walked around the store. I'm walking around this whole store and trying to find where I go to do it, and I was looking for a salesperson, and I never found one. I mean, There's a big store, all this clothes everywhere, and not one salesperson around to tell me just where I needed to go and where I was looking for. And you go to these other big shopping malls right now, they're all taking this, Costco effect. They don't have people out there. It's go find it yourself.
Hmm.
And the old days of how we sell and all the rest of it are dwindling. And that does affect sales, especially the people who buy on Amazon. Buying clothes on Amazon is not my thing. I mean, you always get the wrong stuff, and it's ridiculous. It's become a robotic situation of shopping. And maybe that's how it's going to be. You'll have screens there and it'll tell you where to go, and you won't have any salespeople. So the idea of having some salespeople actually help you is falling apart.
Yeah. De-dollarization. Three global superpowers drop United States dollar for crypto oil trade. Tell me about that, Michael.
Ha, that's something that goes right back to July 3rd at the reset of Rio. That's why you're not seeing Russia initially and some of these other countries capitulating to the U.S. tariff situation, including India, who's been very, very, very strong on not doing what Trump wants them to do. And China not rolling over like they once did, or somebody like Canada rushing and becoming a member of the BRICS because they have another venue to be able to do business in. And that's the de-dollarization. That's the world reserve currency status, where countries use the U.S. dollar around the world versus their own currencies. Now China has been pushing the Chinese yuan, and the problem is that Biden allowed them to capture almost 20% of that market, and de-dollarization is continuing. And that's why this whole tariff situation didn't go off and go down as quickly as Trump thought, because the first term he came in, he caught him off guard. And I said it before, they're not off guard this time. They're using the BRICS dollars. They're using what they set up and put into place in July as a means of paying for their bills and paying and moving money between countries, and they're having other countries accept it where they don't have to get stuck in US dollars, and that's de-dollarization. And if we lose our power of the US dollar as being the almighty means of dollar transfer, we're going to lose geopolitically, financially, militarily, geopolitically. It's really scary. The overall effect to us could be astronomical. Just the debt that we pay right now on our money that we pay on it could double. And think about what would happen to our debt at that time. It would be horrific. Horrific.
Let's go to this last one. Basant encourages Fed to lower rates by 150 basis points or more. You think they're going to do it or not?
Not after the, not after that CPI report. I think they'll be lucky to get half a basis point. Where I used to think it was like 80% they're going to do it, and maybe even more than 25%, maybe 50. I think if they do it at all, it's going to be 25%. I don't think now after this, it's going to be our good buddy Jerome Powell, when they wake him up from his nappy. Maybe he took naps with Joe together. They got together and they took little naps in the afternoon. But I don't think they're going to do half a basis point right now, unless some really good numbers come out. We could be looking at just a quarter of a point basis point drop, and we need more than that, especially for the housing market, because the housing market is a precursor of everything that's going on. And if I was a buyer, this is a buyer's market, not a seller's market. If you're looking for a house, beat them up.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Look who came in to say hello to you. You're always asking about her. Here she is.
Oh, Dolly.
Dolly. What's up, girl? What's up?
Dolly's going to be at the event. We need her there.
It's thundering. It's thundering. She doesn't like the thunder. You don't like... Ooh, you hear that thunder? Come here. I hear it too. Can you guys hear that?
All of the issues that we're looking at right now comes to one big phenomenon. It's a new global financial system. It is coming. I'm telling you, as we're sitting here, it's coming to you. And if you do not properly prepare, if you do not properly organize yourself and get yourself a literally strong box of gold that is part of your portfolio, you're going to take a hit, and some people won't recover. because the financial markets and the way they sell people nowadays. When I started off as a stockbroker, that's what they called us. You sold stocks and you only got paid once. The mutual fund market and all these other markets were created for one thing: commissions. They get money under management. And I tell everybody out there, Google backdoor money. Google backdoor money. You'll find out that you're going to get a surprise when you go to sell out your account with with the company you do business with. You're going to have this big charge that comes up because it's called backdoor money. That they're going to say, "Well, you know it was in the paperwork you signed, and you didn't know." So it's time to get wise and act versus react and get protected while you can. Because if you don't, you're going to pay us a lot more and get a lot less.
Are we headed for a recession?
4,000 year end.
Are we headed?
What?
Are we headed for recession, or are we already in one?
No, I think we already have been in one. I think we're trying to come out of it under Biden, but I think the biggest thing we are in is for a devaluation, and that's in a new financial system, and we just don't know how it's going to come out yet. They're changing it. They've already done that. The Genius Act has already put everything in place. It just hasn't happened yet. When they get all of the ducks in a row, that's when all the little machines are going to be cooking, and the banks and the rest of them are going to get together, and the people are going to take hits that we warn about.
When do you think this is going to happen?
It's going on now.
But when do you think it'll finally be decided? When will you feel it with the reset of the dollar? Because what you're talking about now is your groceries will be more expensive. Your rent's going to be more expensive. What are you talking about here?
I'm talking about your dollars the rent might be less, but the dollars you have to pay for it is going to cost you more. That's what's going to be sort of goofy. They can bring your rent down, but the dollars you use to pay for it are going to go up, go down in value. So you're going to have to use more of them. And it's going on right now every day. Every single day, they're getting ready. They're getting the state out. They're coordinating it all with the banks. It's not a matter of a year from now. It's months. It's weeks away. They are coordinating all of this.
Will they announce it, or will they just roll it out? No, people have to figure it out on their own.
They'll just roll it out and say it's already happening. They're not going to announce it. It's going to be the same thing that happened in 1971. Like I said, I turned to my buddy and I said, "What the heck happened?" That's exactly in it's a matter of chaos. They don't want to have chaos. So what they did in 1933 is Roosevelt just shut the banks down and put a sign up, bank holiday. Well, we don't have to do that now because we've got computers. You can go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning and it's all done. That's why banks are closing branches, because everything's going digital. They don't need you in the bank anymore. They don't want you in the bank anymore. They want you to do it from home. So your wallet is going to be empty. It's amazing. I go into stores right now and you look at the bottom of the thing and you try to pay cash. They don't take cash. We're cashless. A lot of people don't even most people carry around their Apple phone with a bunch of credit cards. No money. Most people are cashless right now. Young people.
So what you're saying is they can adjust the system and no one's really going to know, other than you're paying higher prices for your products.
Correct. One of the gentlemen that work for us is a really smart guy. I'm not going to make his name. He watches the show. He's been brilliant about this. People are just not paying attention. They are going to reorganize things on you, ladies and gentlemen. And trust me, it's going to be too late. It's happening right now around you. You're seeing branches of banks close. You're seeing people go in to get cash and they want your blood type. You're seeing people opening up bank accounts. They don't offer checkbooks anymore. You're seeing the government embracing cryptos and digital. The only thing they're trying to do is say it won't be called CBDC. It's that we're keeping them out of it. But the reality is that the system is changing around you as we are speaking, and we here at Swiss, Wes and I, we are trying to warn you. And if you don't want to listen, you'll pay us more later, or maybe you won't have the money to protect yourself. I truly don't know. I know I'm protected.
And you're saying still $4,000 an ounce gold by the end of the year?
Yep.
And silver, where will silver be?
4,000, 4,200, silver between the 40s and 50s, somewhere in the 40, 45.
All right, guys, worldviewgold.com. If you want more information, get a free, no obligation packet. Find out how to put gold into your IRA. Take custody of gold, 1933 and older. That's known as numismatic, which means the government doesn't even know you bought it. It's because they don't have to report it to the government that you bought it. And a lot of people like that because it gives privacy, as Dolly's hiding under my desk tonight due to the thunderstorm outside. Worldviewgold.com. I've never seen her do this. Worldviewgold.com. She never lays under the desk like that. She's not laying. She's sitting there. She's sitting under there, Mike. She's very, very attentive.
She's there because I actually sent her like a telepathic message, really. So
well, she's sitting under the desk. She's not even laying down. She's sitting because she's very alert. Very alert.
I'm bringing you a special treat when I come.
Oh, when you come here in October, huh?
Yeah, correct. When I'm there, I'm definitely bringing her a special treat.
She'll look forward to that. I'll tell her. Michael's bringing you a treat, Dolly. Worldviewgold.com. Worldviewgold.com. Thank you, Michael.
Take care. Have a good evening. Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Go to worldviewhealthcare.com. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. worldviewhealthcare.com. That's worldviewhealthcare.com.
The emergency kit available at worldviewhealthcare.com. Make sure you don't have to go to urgent care. I got pneumonia. I didn't have to go. I took this last year. Stayed at home. Went to bed.